What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the demo for Metaphor ReFantazio. I've played it, and I think this game is going to be a real special one. So, many people were telling me, right, hey, Alex, the demo is out. I've done these past couple of videos on Metaphor. We're all getting very, very excited. They dropped the demo, which is the prologue of the game, right? This is a meaty thing. I've seen, now, I don't think it's as long as I've seen. I saw people say it's taking them 8 to 10 hours. I think it's more like a 4 to 5 hour type situation myself, but it is what it is. You spend as much time in this world as you want to spend, and I don't know how it could be better. I mean, I know I'm kind of coming in hot, but truly, I think this game is going to be phenomenal. Now, I've long said, I don't think it's all that surprising. I think if you've seen what I've seen, which is what a lot of people have seen, right? Just the trailers, the gameplay, the adjustments they've made from Shin Megami or Persona to this game, right? The kind of evolution of gameplay systems and just what they're trying to do here. I think you can see a game of the year in the making. Now, not guaranteed, but you can see it happening live before your eyes. So it shouldn't be that surprising when you jump into the game and you realize, holy dear God, and that's kind of my feeling where all of the things that I was wondering, even some of the things where it's like, okay, well, it's going to be a little bit darker, right? It's going to be, I guess in a way, more political. And the game hits you so freaking hard just in the opening cutscene. Now, well, firstly, let me just say, I can't imagine a game looking better than this, okay? I mean, it looks so beautiful, whether it is the cinematic scenes. Now, I think to Persona 5, and I mean, they do it kind of sparingly. They don't do it all that often, but, when they do those really just glamorous CG scenes, when the, Phantom Thieves send out their letters, right? It's just such a beautiful cinematic. I mean, just the art design and just how well everything looks. This game has it. This game looks so freaking good. Then it's violent. You're seeing people cut each other down. You're seeing people being eliminated. It is brutal immediately. And I'm serious here. I thought, okay, they got it. Immediately, I thought, all right, pretty much all of my, not necessarily concerns, but just things that I was wondering on immediately melted away. In fact, I would say in the first half an hour of this game, everything that I was kind of like, well, I think they can do it, but you have to, of course, see it play out. It played out in the first 30 minutes. The story is insanely good. Honestly, now it has to hold for the whole game. The game is going to be, as we've talked about in past videos, game's going to be 100 hours, right? It's a long game. So, you got to hold that intrigue and the conflict and just all the stuff that they're doing with that main plot. You got to be able to hold that throughout the entire game. So, it's not a given, but they showed me that, oh my God, okay, this can be dark. This can be a little complex, but it's understandable, right? Then, okay, well, what about the characters? I've talked a lot about them as well in my past videos. You expect good characters like that. Persona for me, and I mean, I haven't played. I have a confession to make. I actually haven't played Shin Megami Tensei. I actually have 2 of them physically. I've never actually touched them. I've got to do that because I'm being told that this game is actually more like that than it is Persona, which is cool. But I think to Persona with the cast. I mean, I love the cast of these Persona games, especially 5. Was really hard to say goodbye to. So, again, I'm thinking, all right, well, it's going to be different. It's going to be a different kind of cast, but, if they can nail that same kind of just, feeling of having that bond, they're going to be fine. That's exactly, immediately, they throw at you a character that I think is just extremely good. Even Gallica, who's the fairy that's with you, there's some really great characters in the first couple hours. Pretty much, actually, all of these characters are super interesting. The voice acting is phenomenal. I'm doing English. I mean, I kind of go back and forth. I'll play the Yakuza games in Japanese, but actually most of these type of games I actually do play in English. So I don't know if the Japanese is even better than this, but I think the voice acting is phenomenal. 10 out of 10. So, I mean, so far so good, right? Visuals, high quality. Story, super good. Immediately gets me in, immediately throws, kind of like a conflict, intrigue kind of thing at you. The characters are immediately fantastic. I want to talk about kind of 2 different aspects to to wrap this up, the music or the soundtrack, and then the actual gameplay. So when it comes to the music, I mean, holy dear God. Now, again, me with the Persona kind of background, I expect some pretty darn good music, right? I mean, the soundtracks of those games are legendary. And this one nails it. I think I want to make sure I'm getting it right. I think it's Hollow Bastion for Kingdom Hearts. One of the loops that they do in this game sounds so much like Kingdom Hearts to me, and that's a good thing because I mean, the soundtrack for Kingdom Hearts is unbelievably elite, right? So I think the music in this game is phenomenal all of the time. Speaking of another thing that's phenomenal all the time is the UI. I mean, I know we talk about it a lot, but these screens are just not human. They're not normal in the gaming industry. They are so flashy. They're so slick, the way that they transition from one thing to the next. And here's the thing too, and it's something I kind of realized again early on, first half hour of the game. Because we always talk about that. We talk, this team stays together, and, it allows them to kind of build off of what they've done in the past, right? But one thing that I kind of want to bring up too is also the barrier of entry is very, very low. And that's another thing that's kind of interesting to me, where it does look so good and it does look so flashy. And you think about, especially when you get into gameplay elements, there is a lot going on. You have to be mindful of a couple different things, but the way that they convey information to you through the visuals, through screens and, and selections, right, is so good. So not only does it look nice, but it's also easy to figure it all out. So wanted to give them kind of a shout out there. And then the gameplay. I mean, this is the more familiar part to me, right? This does feel, they have the archetypes, which is, the same kind of thing as Personas, and I like what they're doing in terms of some of the changes. Actually, there's a few things in this game that I noticed, and I was like, okay, these are things that you can tell are evolutions of the past stuff. I mean, the easiest ones to go to are the gameplay elements, right? So once enemies are substantially lower than you, then it's more of a hack and slash thing. You just walk up to them, slice them, and you don't have to get into the turn-based battle. If they're the same level as you or higher than you, then you would have to do it. And even just that small little change, I mean, I don't even know. I don't think it's a small little change. I actually think it's kind of a big deal. And the way you transition from the hack and slash kind of thing, almost lowering the enemy's kind of defense or almost shield, and then you get into the squad gameplay. Love that kind of transition. And then it is more familiar. Now, the one big change because of the archetypes, right, is you can basically choose people to be whatever you want. They're not locked into one specific, including yourself, right? So as you create these bonds with different people, you're going to unlock this. You'll have a mage, you'll have a warrior, right? And so their personas, in this game, not personas, they'll have their magic abilities, right? So they'll have the wind, fire, all that kind of stuff. But your character is not locked into that. You do have to purchase it, right, for the first time, and then after that, it's available for anybody. So I believe you can roll with multiple people being the same thing, and I like that, because that is that strategy that I haven't used it so far, but especially I'm only playing on normal, especially on higher difficulties. I could imagine that's a thing. Kind of midway through the demo, you face that bird human weird thing, and it's weak to, I think, only ice. Pretty much anything else just does kind of moderate damage or whatever. And I only had Stroll as the mage, and nobody else was. And I was thinking later, I was like, I could have loaded us all up and had all of us be that, because that was the only one at the time that had the ice ability, right? So it's okay, well, that's something that maybe I'll have to think about and use later on. If you figure out a weakness, maybe you go back to a past save or restart the battle or whatever, and you kind of respec your team. So I think that kind of deep dive gameplay thing, I really think that's going to elevate the entire thing. I think, again, it's flashy, it's fun, it's strategic. It's got all of the main factors that you would want it to have that make it engaging. And then they kind of just add, I mean, that's really what it is, right? They just added on to it. So I'm in love with it. I mean, it actually made my life harder, because, going into October 11th, you got this game and Dragon Ball. It's a terrible day. I mean, it's a terrible day and a great day. I don't know what to do. I mean, my plan was to play Dragon Ball and then kind of go back and forth. Play Metaphor. You can play Dragon Ball a little bit each day. But this game, like, it proves to me that, like, you have to play it. I have to play this game. But it's like, well, Dragon Ball also comes out the same day. So I'm in a really tough spot now, to be honest with you. I mean, it's a me problem for sure, but the game is so freaking good. So hopefully, if it just holds on to this, and I mean, this is several hours. We're not talking about 30 minutes of flashy stuff. We were talking about seeing pretty much every system in play. We're seeing travel on maps in play, right? Like how days work. We are seeing substantial plot. We're seeing substantial, character development and just characters in general. The gameplay. You're seeing the whole game. You're just not seeing. Okay, well, you're seeing all aspects of the game, but you're not seeing the entirety of it, right? So hopefully, if they hold on to it, this is a game of the year. This would easily enter my top 3 with Final Fantasy and Astrobot. That's my top 2 right now. I mean, it makes a push for those top 2, to be honest with you. So I am so ready for this. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.